I'm Jessie Walters from Charles Rutenberg. I'm joining you today to give you the real estate market update. I know a lot of you guys ask me, what's going on, what's my, what do I think is going to happen in 2021, 2022, 2023. And of course, I'm not a psychic, so it's just kind of my opinion on what I think is going to happen. But first, I want to update you guys on what's going on in the industry right now. As you guys know, there's the MLS, which is a key tool for realtors to actually list homes. So on there, they also have how many homes are listed in our area, which is going to be Pinellas, Pasco, Hillsborough, Hernando. And then, of course, Orlando is also on our MLS. Orlando, you're going to have Kissimmee, Gainesville, the Villages, Valrica, some places that you guys aren't familiar with, but those are also going to be on the MLS too. So today, when I went on there, just to kind of give you an update, the new listings for today in all these areas there's 30. Okay, so when I say 30 new listings today, in the Tampa Bay area, there's 3, Pasco 0, Hernando 0, and also there is another Hernando MLS. So that might there might be 1 or 2 on that separate MLS where they didn't go on the big stellar MLS. But that kind of gives you an idea how low the inventory is. So on that too, they had price, they'll list every day if there's a price increase. So you have a seller, say for instance, and they think that maybe the realtor had maybe priced it too low, or maybe they had priced it too low, or maybe one of the neighbors sold their house during the listing. They sold their house, which is exactly the same, and got $10,000 more than their listing price. So they'll call the realtor up and say, I need you to increase that price. So there's about 6 price increases. Now back in 2013, 2016, we didn't really see price increases. We've seen a lot of price decreases, but now we have actual price increases. So it's funny to me, but you guys might not understand it really, but it's just, you put that house out there and then you'll say, oh, maybe I overpriced it. And then you'll decrease it a little bit to get people out and to get the buzz going. Well, now, because it's so busy, they will increase it. I got 10 showings in one day. Let's increase the price. So it's kind of a new, for 2021, we're kind of breaking all the rules. So you got that price increase. There's 6 of them. Price decrease, only 2. And then you have back on the market. Now, back on the market is a great place to be as a buyer, as for not so much obviously the seller, because back on the market means they had a contract and they were having inspections or they were having an appraisal and there was an issue. So a lot of times people will purchase a home and overpay for it and then try to use that home inspection as leverage. And with all the buyers now, the sellers will just say, you know what, let's just work with someone else. So they'll put it back on the market. Now, when it goes back on the market, sometimes the buyers will look at it and say, what's wrong with it? It's back on the market. Something must have, been wrong with it. So if you as a buyer see something back on the market, definitely check it out, because you could, basically in this market, get something at least at price or something that's not overpriced. So back on the market, there's 10. And then, of course, this is the whole, like I said, Pinellas, Pasco, Hillsborough, Hernando. There's pending 22 listings today are under contract this morning. What is pending means that there's basically, they were for sale yesterday. Today, they're not for sale anymore. They're under contract. I got to tell you guys a funny story. Yesterday, I was going to show a listing. This listing was in Bayonet Point in Beacon Woods, and one day on the market. So I have a customer who's looking for their what are they? The parents are like the grandparents want to move here. So we were going to go show it, or I was going to go show it in, Beacon Woods, and I called on it. It's available, but they already have 3 offers in this is Bayonet Point, Hudson area, Pasco County, and the offers were all due by the end of the day, and so I had to call my customer and say, hey, no pressure whatsoever, but when we go out and look, if you guys want it, we have to put an offer in immediately. That's no pressure at all. That's no pressure. Just like, you got to buy it today or we're not going to get it tomorrow. So that's kind of how the market is right now, as far as, when you're on your way out somewhere as a realtor, you might want to check to make sure that it's still available by the time you get there. So in other words, if you booked them the day before your appointments, you might want to go on the MLS and check, make sure it's not pending, or get a hold of that agent that listed it and check with them, make sure that you're not just wasting your time. So, you're on your way and that it's already been, upgraded to pending in the MLS, and you're out there showing a house that you can't actually purchase and just wasting time. So it's very frustrating. But right now, it's just a funny market. We'll be on our way places, and it'll be under contract, or my customer will say, I really love it, to the point where I have one buyer right now who is so motivated. He doesn't even look at the houses. He just says, just send an offer in. And then if we get it, we'll go out and we'll, obviously look, we'll show up for the home inspection. I need a house, so we get very motivated buyers right now. And then also, you guys had also asked me, what are the average prices going over? Because I know you guys are watching the news and you're seeing the sales, how much the average is going over the actual prices of the selling prices. So I want to tell you guys that in Hernando, it's not as high over as Pasco, a little higher. Pinellas and Hillsborough are a little higher. Now, what I mean by that is, if you see a property that's for sale for, say, let's just use 300 as a round number, in Hernando, you might be getting somewhere like at 300, 298, real close to there. That's how the sales are coming in. A lot of FHA in Hernando, which is 3.5% down, where the buyers want to see, they're getting their 3.5% like down, a lower down payment, stuff like that. The same with Pasco, but more conventional loans, more cash. And then, of course, Hillsborough, Pinellas County, more. So let me give you this as an idea. 300,000 Hernando, it's probably going to sell for around 305, 295, somewhere in there. And this is my average and my friends who are realtors' averages. So this isn't like written in stone. Pasco County, I'm finding about between 5 to 25 over asking, unless it's a very sought after, like say, for instance, we're in Champions Club and you have 5 buyers, you're going to get more, going to get higher for that. I just saw one listed in Champions Club. I think it was 1.5 million. So, of course, the higher you go, $5,000 is not going to look like a lot of money, but if you go 25 over, 35 over, you'll get the property then. But so Pasco, the average I'm seeing and all this, my sellers that I've got for them has been asking to about at the like 30,000 over. So, those are usually cash buyers, or they have cash with their purchase so that they can go over, because obviously if the house appraises for 300, the bank's not going to go, oh, well, you won a bidding war, here's 20,000 extra just because we like you. You got to have that cash to go over. So, and then when you get to Pinellas and Hillsborough County, I have a really good friend who works Clearwater Beach. She's seeing at least 50 over, 50,000 over Hillsborough County. So you're between like 30 to 50,000 over right now. Unless, like I was saying, if you find a back on the market property where someone's super motivated, you might get away with less. But that's the average. You don't have to list that. I just got one, and I won't mention names or locations. It was 35. I was working with buyers, Pinellas County, 35,000 over, but it wasn't a single-family residence. It was a villa or it was a condo. So, but the prices I'm talking about are single-family residences. Hernando, around price, about 5 to 10 over, or Pasco, at least, between price to 30,000, 25,000 over, and then Hillsborough, Pinellas, as much as I've seen them as much as like say 50, being outbid 50,000 cash over, no contingencies, waiving everything, and still not getting the offers. So that kind of gives you an idea how crazy the market is right now. So I really feel bad for my my new realtors who call me for advice and stuff like that, who are just running. And as realtors, you're putting gas in your tank, you're eating, you're out on the road all day, and then you get back and you write all these offers, and unfortunately not getting the homes is very discouraging to, I know, a lot of new realtors, and even realtors have been in the business and stuff, because you're spinning a lot of wheels and you're spending a lot of gas money, and at this point there's just low inventory. And I know you guys were asking me too about how long do I think it's gonna to stay like this? And I wanted to get like the crystal ball and all that stuff out so I could tell you, because there's no really rhyme or reason to what what is happening with this market. And I know experts say due to low interest rates, low inventory, obviously it's making our properties go up. Instead of our 2% to 4%, we're at 5 and 6%. Some are even higher. But they are saying that because we're limited inventory, because our taxes are lower, we had just different things go on as far as people coming to Florida even more now. And I know they are trying to lower some taxes in other states, so it's more, I guess, feasible to stay in those states. But we also have that in Florida, that paradise. We have the Key West. We have beautiful beaches, that are top in the United States beaches. So that's like a draw, obviously, to come here and to retire, or to come here and move your family. It has the paradise, because you have the lower cost of living, you have lower taxes, and I'm not just talking about property taxes, your actual taxes and stuff here in Florida, and you're in like the food, but then of course with all that being said, the incomes are a little lower compared, in other words, we don't get paid as high as you do, say, if you're coming from New York and you had your professional there and you have the same job here. Florida is going to pay you a little bit less, but of course you get more for your buck. So I guess it's an even trade. So everyone was asking me again too, so I'm going to go over all these questions. What's the best season to buy? So for me as a realtor, when I see people buying, we know that there's like the cycle is when the snowbirds come down from after Thanksgiving to Christmas. January to March is a busy time for us, because we not only have our normal people, our normal buyers who are Floridians who are just relocating in the state, we have out-of-state buyers coming down too. So for me, that's a really busy time. I'm trying to fit everybody in. And of course, during the holidays, you're trying to fit your family in. So you've got, like I said, inside Florida, outside Florida, and you have the snowbirds. And we noticed that the streets are more packed. We have more people from out of state, and that time is a very, very busy time. And then statistically, winter, the median price is around, say, $241 right now. And that's, I don't know if they did it Pasco County, but that's what they're saying, Florida's median winter price. So I think they averaged it with, because you have Orlando, Pasco, Hillsborough, Pinellas, Hernando. So if you average it, the median is $241. And then by the springtime, it's $247. So you can see it kind of going up. And then summertime, they're saying $251. Now, for me, in the areas that I service, the summertime is usually a little slower, only because everyone goes on vacation. Of course, during the COVID time last year, there wasn't no one went on vacation. We just kept showing houses, and even during COVID, we were out there showing, because people need housing, and that's our jobs. We showed during the summer times, and it just was steady. But it does say the median price goes up in the summertime. And of course, because of low inventory, you're going to have the median price keep creeping up. And again, they asked when the housing market will slow, and it's projected to, experts are saying 2022, 2023. So they don't project it slowing down. And I know a lot of people keep saying to me, well, I think I'm going to wait till the market crashes, and whether that's going to happen again. And do I know if it's going to happen again? Well, obviously, like I said, I don't have a crystal ball, and if I did, I wouldn't know exactly how to use a crystal ball. So, so there's that. But there's no exact rhyme or reason, like I was saying, to the market. But there's no red flags right now saying that the market's going to fall. What's good for homeowners, if you already own a home, you can see your values kind of creeping up. You can see your neighbors selling. You can see all that stuff going on. And so that's good. I'm not a person who says your equity went up, get a loan, take all your equity out. I'm more of a person that says like, wow, look at how much equity you have in your house. It's like a little savings account then if your equity is going up and up. Again, you're seeing your neighbors sell. And with this, of course, you're wondering, well, where are my neighbors going? And a lot of people ask me that too. I have one in downtown city of Newport Richey. They want to sell, and we're having a problem with the actual new purchase because we're doing a house sale contingency, meaning that we're gonna sell that house in downtown Newport Richey, and then they're going to move to this new house. Well, when there's 10 to 20 offers on a new house, they don't want to see a house sale contingency in there. They don't want to see that, to purchase your home, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, I've got to sell this home prior. When they have a cash offer or they have someone who doesn't have to do that. So on the totem pole, we're kind of last because we don't have as much leverage as someone who's coming in with that new loan and no contingencies as far as just the home inspection and the appraisal is all they have. They don't have to sell something to get that loan, or a cash buyer, of course, will always beat everybody out if it's a decent offer and stuff. So we have that and stuff. So if you're looking to sell, obviously it's the best time to sell and you're going to get top dollar. The only problem is you're going to have to make sure that you have, someone to either stay with temporarily till we find you another home, because then you're in a perfect leverage, situation. Then you sold your house, you've got money in the bank, you got your loan approved, you're ready to purchase, and then you become like almost a perfect buyer unless you had, that cash, or like I always say, that rich aunt who could loan you that cash to purchase that home, and you can refinance once you get in there. So they are saying that you're going to keep seeing these increases till 2023 as far as what experts say. So I haven't seen any reason to say it's going to slow down. I'm still seeing, again, the offers, the last one I went under contract for last week. They had 8 offers, and then it was down to 3 offers, and then we were on the top 2 and we got it. But it wasn't just a normal, and we're talking, these people are purchasing cash too. There's no mortgages when I'm doing this, and I'm still struggling and making sure my offer is the best and reading it 10 times and checking it twice like Santa Claus. Okay, so the other thing was you guys were asking me how many actual houses are for sale in the different counties and stuff. So we have Hernando. Now, again, I was saying Hernando has another MLS that's separate. They're reciprocal with other agents, so we can advertise on their MLS. But most of the time, if you're advertising or if you're an agent in Hernando, the key is to make sure you put it on the big MLS too, because our MLS, they see, we see everything. If you have someone in Hillsborough, county, and they're downsizing or they're trying to find a bargain, you want to make sure your Hernando property, if you're a Hernando agent's on the MLS, on the Matrix MLS, because everybody will see it. If you just put it on the Hernando MLS, they're going to see it on Zillow, Realtor.com only, but we're not going to see it on here. So there may be some statistics on my Hernando number that is not accurate. So, but all the other ones, Pasco, Hillsborough, Hernando, Pinellas, not Hernando, but Pinellas are all accurate. So Pasco County, now these are single family residents, excuse me, the total of Pasco County single family residences for sale today are 576. So those are houses in Pasco County that are actually for sale. Now, if we count in condos and mobile homes and condos, mobile homes, single family residents, there's 838. So you can see that there's not a lot of condos and mobile homes for sale, which are kind of grouped together there. And then in that 838, the 576 is your active single family residences. So you can see all these people moving here and why there's, low inventory. Hillsborough, you got 1,668 total of actual properties for sale. And again, we're talking mobile homes, condos, villas, just like the other one, the total was 838. This one's 1,668. So we have Hillsborough, bigger, has more for sale. And then the single family residences in that area, 1,331. And of course, they're all over the shop as far as prices and stuff. So, and of course, that is including properties that are $1 million, and then properties that are 300,000. That's a total for the whole of Hillsborough County on the MLS. Pinellas County, we had 1,605 properties total, and then of that, so 1,605, and that, of course, like I was saying, is single-family residences, condos, mobile homes, villas, 1,605, and then single-family residences, which is a house, basically, is 934. So when I say single-family residence, I'm talking about a home it owns its own lot. You're separated, so that's what a single-family residence is. So there's 934, and then Hernando, like I was saying, some of them are not on the MLS here. It's 234 with mobile homes, condos, villas, and then 209 are single-family residents. But like I was saying, a lot of Hernando agents just advertise because it's free just to put it on their MLS only. So for them, I always suggest, pay the extra, and we pay the extra that way. So in other words, if I list something in Hernando, I put it on the Matrix MLS, but then I pay extra, because they're reciprocal, which means that they'll let me go on that Hernando MLS, and I'll pay them a couple $100 to list that on there too. So, which is the best thing. But you can kind of see the average there. There's not a lot of properties for sale for all these people moving here and all these people relocating. And then when you go into, I have one customer, they're new home purchasers, and they're looking around 250 to 300 in the Trinity area. And when you put that in, there's normally about between 1 and 8 that come up for sale. And then it says Trinity or like 34655 zip code, which is the legal is Newport Richey. But so that's going to be like 54 area. There's around the hospital area there, and they really like that area. And when we go in, excuse me, there's like I said, about 8 properties. So when you get there, right now everybody's asking how is it when you get out there? How are people in line? Are you fighting? Are you what is going on? And of course, if you're, I guess if you're mean, you're meaner. But if you're nice, you just hold yourself together and you stand in line. You wait out by your car is the thing to do. So if you're purchasing a home right now and it's one day on the market, you're going to see when you go onto your little showing time thing, it has a little, I should have screenshot that and put it up there, but it has an example of bookings, and the one, you can book every 15 minutes. So the last one I was on was 10 shows every 15 minutes, and then the next day was booked 2. So there was 25 shows that I could see on one property that was listed for one day. So it kind of gives you an idea. So when you get out there, the normal thing is, you pull up and there's a car the people are in the house, and then a car usually pulls up after you, which before, when you were just, 4 years ago or a couple years ago, you would just pull up, you would hear crickets. There's no one out there. There's no one out there. And then you're pretty much by yourself. And then, you're almost paranoid because it's so quiet and everything. But now there's always people out there. There's a line at one property I went to. So, but anyway, so every 15 minutes you're going in, you're waiting. And so, and right now it's if they're friendly, it's nice because you can kind of, if no one liked the house, you can kind of stand outside and say what we could do with it and kind of dream, and then the next one pulls up. But most of the time it's about every 15 minutes. So you're going to go into that property and you're going to walk through it, and I always say look up to, if you're looking in a property, check for, your water stain marks. Even though we're all motivated, you still have to check that property, make sure there's not major issues, because you're in a hurry and you're not knee-jerking to purchase this property, but you have one day and it's a lot of pressure as far as for buyers. So, I used to say to people, go home and sleep on it. And of course, we don't have that time now. So some people are getting like the buyer's remorse, where they're like, what did I just do? I was in such a hurry. I purchased this property. Just make sure that you have a good feeling about the property you're walking through, and to make sure that you have that home inspection period. I know some of you guys, your agents are saying to waive the home inspection period, but if you don't keep the home inspection period, you have no recourse to really get out of your, you've put your money down, you've you've put your home inspection period on there, hopefully, and you're locked into that contract. And if you don't have a home inspection period, God forbid you find out later that the electrical panel had to be replaced or something like that. It's something that's not a normal, you didn't know. How are you to know? How's your realtor to know? How's even the seller to know there's a defective electrical panel unless you have a home inspection? So stuff like that, it's worth paying the, depending on the square footage of the house, the $400 to $500, $600 to have the home inspection period. But I know a lot of realtors are using that as leverage to try to, appease the seller, to make the contract look better. Look, we aren't even going to ask for a home inspection. And so, I know I can see that maybe on a new construction home or a new construction home, but, or if you're super handy or you're a contractor, you can waive those home inspections. But I feel like if you're just a first-time home buyer, the home inspection period is real important. And, I want to say the sellers should understand that, but I know it's, right now they keep saying seller's market, so we're going to appease that seller. But I would make me really nervous to take that out of there. So I would try to keep that in. So, just because it's safer for you guys as far as that contract and stuff. So when we're talking about, the knee jerk, buying it fast, all that stuff. I know you guys, are the first-time home buyers need to get approved. We have Dylan Gaston from the mortgage firm as a sponsor. And if you call me, I can get you in touch with Dylan, and she can, there's her contact information, and she can get you pre-qualified. And if you can't get pre-qualified right now, don't worry. We've been in business for years and years and years. We can get you, a plan for the future. So if your credit's not perfect right now, she has people she can put you in touch with, but then also we can get you the plan. So if you're not going to buy this year and run around with me in the rain and try to get, properties as fast as we can always shoot for next year or the year after, while you're reconstructing your credit and getting that down payment. She can give you an idea of how much money you actually need to purchase that property. Because, right now, there's lower down payments as far as, there's FHA's 3.5%, but there are some conventional loans that are 3 and 5% right now too. And I know a lot of the sellers like to see those conventional loans right now instead of the FHA, which is a whole nother debate, which Dylan will kill me for saying that. But because FHA is a good loan, which is the argument with the sellers right now, because they'll say, I don't want any FHA. And I had one yesterday, put in an offer, and it says on there, in the realtor's remarks, cash and conventional loan only. Basically, don't send me FHA, don't send me VA, don't send me USDA. This is the only thing we want. So, if your realtor's good and they're watching everything, have them, as far as if you're a buyer, have them look for, call over. Is there a key closing date that the seller wants? Sometimes the seller wants 45 days and you think, oh, I'll close fast. This will make them happy. And then they see that date and pressures them, So try to really work with that seller. If that seller's agent will answer the phone, ask stuff like, is there a special closing date that they want? And if there is, put that on there. Is there anything that doesn't convey? If they want that lamp, or they want, God forbid, appliance, but, if they want the washer dryer, don't ask for the washer dryer. Try to really appease that seller by the little things in your contract that will be attractive to them, as far as, as far as I'm going to purchase this in 30 days, but which I normally don't suggest, but I did have one the other day, is, a lot of the sellers want to stay in the house an extra week, and tell them, you don't have to rent it back from me. I'm going to purchase this home, but you can stay in there. But again, I always say to protect yourself by holding escrow from the seller, as far as they purchase the home, have, depending on the house price, have an escrow held. The last one, for instance, was, because it closed, I can disclose, it was the house was $375. We had $1,000 escrow. She stayed 5 days extra. And during that time, any damages would come out of the escrow payment. So, and I think we were talking about just different things like that when Cheryl was here. But that escrow payment or that escrow held by the title company, most of them will do that for you. And that protects you as far as if you do have someone, the actual seller stay in their own house, but now it's your house because you purchased it to appease them and give them a place to stay. That escrow protects you because if they just move out and rip up stuff, you at least have that money to paint or whatever it is. Now, not normal wear and tear, but damages is what that escrow is going to cover. So if the seller moves out and, has nails in the walls where all the pictures were, it's not going to cover that. It's going to cover stuff like they moved out, maybe they forgot that the oven is your oven, you can get a new oven, stuff like that. But most sellers are pretty good, and they want, especially if they lived in the home a long time, they want you to love the home as much as they love the home. They're attached, and they're going to move out, and they're going to have the house clean, and it's going to turn out good. So in a perfect world, that's how that goes. And sometimes not in a perfect world. We have sellers who move out, hectically because they think the buyers want to get in and they forget to do stuff. And that's where, the realtor comes in and helps. I would think we were talking about that last time. I had one that turned into kind of a little bit of a nightmare, but my sellers stayed in, and then we made it like a shiny new, what is it, penny? It looked great again. It looked wonderful. So yeah, but when she first moved out, it did not. So the buyers were upset, but we had that money in the escrow to make everything right, and so everybody was happy, and the sellers ended up getting the escrow money back and stuff. So, and also I just had another one too. So again, appeasing the sellers when you're trying to put an offer together. I had a buyer, which of course, the key thing right now is my sellers. I feel so good for them because they're just, making money hand over fist. But my poor buyers are being more abused. And I know a lot of realtors right now are not even working with buyers actually because it is so frustrating. But, everybody needs a home right now. My buyers, I can't just say, well, it's too much work for me. When it was easier, I was okay with it. But, it's too much work now. So you guys, I'm not working with you. I cannot do that to I know a lot of realtors, I'm not going to mention any because they're all my friends, but they said they're only doing the sellers only. They're going on vacation, spending more time with family, which is an awesome idea. But we still have these buyers who need homes. And if I have to write, 10 contracts for my buyers until they find one, I will. So speaking of that, I had one, Michelle. I won't put your last name out there, Michelle, that if you're watching this, but we had gone and she had gone under contract, and she had gone with a bank loan, which was a very difficult situation as far as the bank. And we later switched her to the mortgage firm. The bank she picked was not my idea. And I had a bad feeling. I told her, I don't think we should do this. I think you should go with the mortgage firm, someone who, is located out of Florida, as the mortgage firm is. And she didn't want to do it. She went with this big lender, and the big lender treated her as a little drop in the bucket of big lending. So that's what we got. We got bad service. We got denials. Then we got promises, and we got more denials. And anyway, Michelle ended up losing the home that she was under contract for, and they kept her deposit. And there was confusion of whose fault it was, and it was just a big mess because they would say, oh, yeah, we're going to approve you if you do this. And then when she would do it, they would say, oh, you're still not approved. So we had a lot of false promises on that. So we did switch it over to the mortgage firm, Dylan, and she got it done. And Michelle got her home, which she closed on, and I'm going to be putting the pictures up on my Facebook business page. So Michelle will be able to see herself on there with her husband too. But I mean, they just really, just most patient people. But it took us, 6 months to actually go from this home that, didn't work out because we tried to use the big lender, and then to, the mortgage firm, which it closed smooth, 30 days, no problem. And then unfortunately, someone had took off a hose on the outside and broke all around the hose bib. So when we did the walkthrough, yeah, it gets worse, the nightmare. The back room flooded. So when we were talking about escrows, this is another good idea if you're new in the business or if you're a buyer and something like this happens to you. So the back room, we walked in, and it flooded the back room, like which is a bedroom, and the hose bib broke and it leaked in the wall and it caused the room to flood. So of course, when I got there, first thing you do is go turn the main off if you know where the main is. So that's always good to know where the main is. Well, I didn't know where the main was, so I trampled around the house, found the main, turned off the water, stopped the flood. But the one room was ruined as far as the laminate. It wasn't the plastic laminate; it was the laminate that has the pressed wood underneath of it. So of course it started to swell up as we were there and stuff like that. So she had to get that out. And then I went and got a dehumidifier. We put it in the house immediately to make sure it didn't wreck the rest of the house. And this was at our walkthrough. So she hadn't purchased the home yet, but this was after the whole nightmare of what she went through. We got the dehumidifier, which I always suggest put that in the house immediately. And then she closed on the contingency that the seller would put money into escrow for these repairs. Now, what were the repairs? We needed the hose bib, the actual faucet outside fixed. Plumber was called. D&D, we use them. I'll advertise for you. And he put the faucet in, so we had that done. We had J&J, JJ for the handyman come and rip out the flooring, match up the flooring as best as possible, and then put the new flooring in, the dehumidifier, like I said, and then some just getting that stuff done and everything. But they held an escrow deposit just to make sure of $4,000, just because we weren't sure what the damages were. We thought we caught it in time, but we weren't sure. But that's another good tip for holding your escrow, just making sure that if there is a problem, if you see something during your walkthrough and you're not happy with it, you can say something as far as, I want to make sure this is repaired. If it's something you've already accepted on the home inspection, or you've had your home inspection, you're already aware of it, that wouldn't be fair to bring it up. But if there's like a flood, if there's something that is a major concern, a tree fell through the roof, stuff like that, you can literally close on that property, but hold that money back from the seller to make sure the repairs are done. Or unless you're super motivated, you can take it as it is. But I always say, let's walk through that property prior to the purchase just to make sure it's still there, which is my joke. But then, when you go there and it's a nightmare, it's always, a little shocking. But you got to land on your feet, and especially in this market, because that if you say, I'm not closing on this house, there's about 20 people who will close on that house with your flooded back room. So you have to land on your feet, which Michelle was the trooper. And Keith, they were trooper. They just said, oh no, we want the property. We'll just hold the money. And again, we just put the receipts into the title company, and now they're dispersing a check back to Michelle after the closing to reimburse her for the new flooring, the dehumidifier, the faucet, check goes out, all that stuff. But that was because the escrow company, the title company held it for them. And I want to actually special thanks to Nightberry Title Services. As guys know, they're my sponsor too, and they're fantastic. And they're always so easy to work with. And if you have a situation like this, you just call up Cheryl and tell her, we're going to have to hold some money back. And of course, you're going to need paperwork. You can't just be verbally, but give her a heads up that that's coming. The paperwork's coming, so they don't just disperse to your seller by accident. And you write up something, obviously if you're on your way to closing, you're going to write up something quick. But your seller, most of the time, want to see your buyers happy. They know that if you explain it to them as in, well, would you want to buy a flooded house, or would you want to buy a house with, broken windows, or whatever the problem is, because you just never know in the real estate game. I've been doing this 16 years, and you just never know what can happen. I've had little kids across the street shoot out windows with BB guns. You just never know what's going to happen. So if something like that happens, you try to land on your feet. Don't freak out. Stay calm and try to, figure out what you can do as far as, obviously when someone lives in a house, you're going to have less of the shooting BB gun windows out, then if they know that you're in the house, you're going to chase them. But sometimes when houses are left by themselves, you can find squatters in there. You can find all sorts of stuff. So, but basically, in this market, learn to kind of roll with the punches. And if you guys are looking for a buyer's agent, I'll be glad to help. And of course, if you're selling, it's the time to sell. So just contact me. I know you guys have my information up on there, but I'm, always up for any questions. And if you're a realtor and you're having problems, you can always call me. And if I don't answer, shoot me a message. I'll be glad to help. And I do a lot of mentoring for new agents and new questions and, for what they have in the industry. I know when I started in Charles Rutenberg, I was like number 210 at 16 years ago. And I think there's like 2,300 of us now. So, realtors are just getting just licensed because they see the industry, how busy it is. Unfortunately, a lot of those realtors are having a shock because, you have to have stuff to sell. So if 2,000 realtors a month are being licensed in the state of Florida and there's 500 houses listed, in just different areas, or there's, 1,500 in Tampa, or there's, what I mean with the numbers. So we have Pasco, there's 838 homes, and now these 2,000 realtors are all through the state of Florida. So, but just this number alone will tell you that, if you know a realtor, they are going to be super motivated to sell your house. They're going to be chomping at the bit, all the real because there's just low inventory, and unfortunately, if you just got licensed now, you're at that point where hopefully you have a good circle of friends and family where they can, provide you with selling their homes and stuff like that. I know Charles Rutenberg has a great, for training and licensing, and it's a great group of people on there. They have if you're a new realtor, they have even a website and, where questions and answers, that we ask, or podcasts and all that to help the new realtors and stuff like that with questions and answers. But again, I'm always available to answer anything that you guys need. And if you're looking in this market, it's good to have a plan. It's good to find out, how close you are to your work. If you're going to, I had a customer on Friday, and we were going to go look at a house in Tampa. I want to say it's Fiddlestick, and she lives in Pinellas County. She did the MapQuest. We were going at 5 o'clock, which is the worst time possibly to go to a property in Tampa. But so we were on the way there, and she did the MapQuest. Well, normally it's a 35-minute run, but of course at 5 o'clock, it's an hour and 10 minutes to get across. So that quickly changed your mind. So, that's a good idea if you're buying to put that address in, or, old school MapQuest on the computer, from your work to your home. And then when you go to work, do the directions again on your MapQuest, because you can see how many accidents there are, how many, what's the average travel time, and you can do that because a lot of times right now the less expensive houses are Hernando, so a lot of people want to move there, but when you're going out of Tampa at 5 o'clock, you'll see it's a huge amount of traffic. If you're coming from Hernando to Pasco, or Hernando Pasco, and you're going into Hillsborough County at 5 o'clock, you're fine. It's just a straight run. And the same on US 19, that's the Suncoast 19. If you're coming from Hernando, Pasco, and you're going to Pinellas County at 5 o'clock, you're fine. But if you're coming from Pinellas County into Hernando, Pasco, you're going to be there for an hour, depending on the traffic, hour and 15 minutes, just because, it could be 35 minutes on the way out, an hour and 10 on the way back. So I know a lot of people don't mind it, so they can get the housing that's less expensive. So it's a great idea, but be mentally prepared for a little longer, actually, if you're going back and forth to work that way. But it's a great idea to go maybe more north right now, because the housing is still going to be less in Hernando County. So it's going to go as far as, I know I've talked about this before, but you're going to have, the more south you go is going to be more expensive, and the taxes are more expensive too. So if you're looking in Hillsborough and Pinellas County, your taxes are going to be higher than Pasco County. And if you're looking in Pasco County, Pasco County, you're going to be higher than Hernando County. So depending on, which areas you like. Do you like it more rural? Do you like more acreage, bigger lots? You're going to have more like Hernando area. If you like the city life, you're gonna like Tampa. You're gonna like St. Pete. There's some nice places, Clearwater Beach area, Clearwater, Dunedin. And of course, these prices have, like I said, shot through the roof with limited inventory in Pinellas, Clearwater Beach areas. If you like more, we have Pasco County. You're going to have more easy tribute or easy trips to Hillsborough and Land O'Lakes. Hillsborough and Land O'Lakes has some good deals too. If you guys need, if you're still interested in new construction, there's a lot of good deals still in Land O'Lakes, in your Wesley Chapel areas, in your Odessa areas. And if you call me, and even though it's new construction, you might not think that a realtor can help you with new construction, but I actually get all the lists to find out, when Ryan Homes are building their new townhouses, when they're coming out, when are Lennar's homes available, how many years are they backlogged for a townhouse, this and that. I mean, some of the new construction right now and actually in Pasco County are backlogged on some of their townhouses. I won't mention which ones, but for a year. So you might be going to the showroom, and you need a home sooner than a year. So you can't wait till July 2022. And that's when a realtor comes in and says, hey, yeah, those are beautiful townhomes, and I know you guys like them and like that price point, but do you have a year to wait? And if you say no, well then we don't even go to see that. So it saves time having a realtor, and then you can find, we know, some don't do new construction, but I do. And if and I get, like I said, I get the list, find out when they're doing the new sections in the areas, find out the starting price, find out the upgrade price. So like, in other words, it says starting at $335. How much are upgrades for that community? What's the average? Do I have to have upgrades? Because, depending on, is there a design center? Is it all inclusive? Is this home done? Do they have any inventory for sale? Are there any bargains out there? If you call me, I can tell you all the different areas that you might not even know there's new construction. I know one in Hernando that's like a little community. It's gated. The HOA is low, new construction. They have a 4-bedroom available right now. It is it's just under 3. So I want to say it's like $289. So, I mean, if you're in Hillsborough and you're looking for new construction and you're like 4-bedroom for $289, that might be something that you're worth looking at, but as a realtor, I know all the, I know where the new townhouses, like which strips going in, when the opening date are the new construction. So it's good to, depending on, all your needs as a buyer, what you need to do. And the best thing if you're selling a home, personally, I think is to go to new construction. So if you're selling your home and you that way you don't have to leverage your home sale contingency with that other house, you can go into new construction. You can have your closing date, and new construction usually will work with you. They are tougher now as far as keeping those deposits, though. So if you change your mind on new construction, because, I know sometimes we ladies will say, it's just not what I wanted. I thought it was something different. I changed my mind. You lose your deposit. If you change your job and your mortgage falls through, you can get your deposit back on most of them. But if you do go new construction and you need a realtor to help you with it, I'd be glad to help. But if you do it on your own, you're going to make sure that you read those contracts, because right now there are some contracts, some new construction that have, if like right now lumber is through the roof, the prices, and it's in the contract that if it goes to a certain point, you're going to have to actually pay the extra. I had one that was $30,000 more new construction. The price went up $30,000 more. Buyers not happy, So unfortunately, they came to me after they already wrote the contract. So they said they don't want to go through with it. I told them I'd help them get a different home, but they did it on their own. They walked away, and the builder kept their deposit. So is it fair? No, but I mean, as sellers go, a builder builder is a seller, so you have to think of it. They're not going to be, they're going to be thinking of themselves, unfortunately, in this market too. So, and with that being said, builders are having highest and best too. So if you do call me, I can tell you which ones are having highest and best. In other words, what's highest and best. So if I see a property and it's 400,000 and it's new construction, and I want to think that I'm the only one looking at this property, obviously we know the market, so that's unfortunately not the way it is. So they will ask for highest and best, and that meaning that they want over 400,000. So you're going to have to bid as a buyer on a new construction home over. So you, with that being said, like I was saying, you want a professional to help you with that. You want to talk about appraisals. You want to talk about cash leverage with that. How much do you think it's going to go work up in the next year? All that does play in to when you're going to go over on something. I had one we just went over, and she asked me, she's like, I'm going to have to rent a year otherwise if we don't go over. So when the property she was going to rent was $2,000 a month. So so not to justify the overage, but $2,000 a month times 12 months, we all know that's 2 times 12 is 24, right? So you literally lost $24,000 to a rental. So why not take that money that you're going to just spend, on a home that's not your house? So you're going to have to spend $24,000, and of course there's going to be deposits. So you're probably going to be at $25,000 if you get your deposit back. You may not. So with total out of pocket, you're at $26,000 for this rental. Why not take that money, that cash that you're just going to throw away in someone's rental, and leverage that as cash on your sale? So if you're looking at something that's 300, throw 324 on it. If there's multi bidders, if there's like 10, 15 bidders on it, go as high as you can, because if you get stuck in a rental, you're just going to be throwing that money in the garbage. So, and then you're going to still be wanting and wishing that you would have purchased that. So don't lose it just because you're trying to, you're thinking the market might fail. Be smart about not getting to a rental situation, and when there's less and less inventory. And we were talking about the inventory and stuff. Experts do say that there should be more inventory, but I'm not sure where we're moving to as Floridians. That's my only question is, we have a lot of retirees. Where are we actually all moving to if all of a sudden the inventory opens up again? These builders, they built 2 years ago, loads of inventory. Those lots are pre-lotted years ago. So did they know this was going to happen? They might not have, but they were prepared with inventory. Look at Starkey Ranch in Pasco County, Odessa. That area just blew up. Astoria blew up. Why did this happen? Because those builders had those pre-lotted sites all ready to go. It wasn't something that they all ran down to the county and just out of nowhere put something together. This was like their plan. Longleaf built a new section. Wesley Chapel, the Ridge, all these areas that they were set. These builders were right there, everything ready to go. Permits pulled, houses, models, ready to go. Agents in the houses hired. This was something that was planned years and years ago. This isn't something that happened in 2020 because we were all just hanging out in quarantine. This is like a plan. These builders knew as soon as the interest rates were due to drop, they had a plan, to actually sell those homes, And I know this happened in 2006, 2007 with the builders. But if you think about 2006, 2007, the inventory is way higher now. So they've sold all those houses out. They're on this next stages where most of these neighborhoods are almost built out. And so that tells you that, do they know something we don't know, as far as Pasco County and what's going on, but they know the infrastructure. They know, what roads are going in. They know, there's the Suncoast is going out in different areas. Suncoast is going on Ridge Road in Pasco County, and now they're turning some of those areas into multi-rise apartment areas. This is like the county and the builders all know that we are building as far as, Tampa wasn't as built up. Pasco and Clearwater wasn't as built up. Now Pasco is getting really built up. the roads are being opened for infrastructure. So these areas are just becoming huge. So for me to tell you that I think it's going to slow down or I think that it's going to crash, I don't think it's going to crash. I think it's going to level out. I'm not an expert in the field, but if you look around you, look around as far as the building, the roads, the infrastructure, the population, just even accidents alone, you can see that this area in Florida, the West Coast, really building up. So, it's great as far as the area and how modern it's going to be. But a lot of people are trying to run away and go to North Florida too. So it's whatever you like and wherever you like to. If you like more rural, you can always go north where it's still slow, But if you guys need any help planning, even your futures as far as, I'm pretty good as far as financially helping you with that. Obviously I'm not a accountant or anything like that, but pretty much know most of my the laws and stuff like that. So we can kind of help you what is the best thing for your situation and narrow it down where the best place for you to live. So please contact me if you guys have any questions. I'd be glad to help. And thanks for joining me today. Hope you guys have a beautiful day, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Thank you so much.